Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Essential Sports Pod. Um, I'm here again with my boys Gerald and Addison.
Yo,
What's up, guys?
Yeah, just for another week of some redbird baseball. It's been a good week. Once again, getting some W's, some people heating up. Um, so we're just gonna get into it. First, I want to start with recapping some of the games that we've played in the last week. Since last episode, the Cardinals finished up the series with the Dodgers and then played the Cincinnati Reds in a four-game series. So we're just going to get started with the Dodgers and move on to the Cincinnati Reds. So, first game, well, first of the last two games against the Dodgers, we won 6-5. We went up early um, in the game. We went up 3-0 until the sixth, where they tied it. And then go ahead Gorman hits a three-run bomb in the eighth to take the lead. What'd you guys see that game?
Well, first I want to start on the pitching side. I got to give Michaelis his props. He looked pretty solid out there. He had 7 innings pitched, and he gave up 3 runs against the powerful Dodgers lineup. So I want to give him his credit. And then, like you said, Gorman is on a tear. He's proving once again that he's one of the best hitters in baseball at this very moment. So from my standpoint, I think it's one of the best wins of the year as far as excitement and overall team wellness put together because the pitching was solid and then the hitting was very clutch, obviously with Gordon. So yeah, that's what I've seen from that game.
yeah, I completely agree with Gerald. I think um, it was good to see Michael. I was more impressed, I suppose, with Michaelis' performance. I mean, Gorman's been amazing. He's been hot, which is really good. But I think um, Michaelis coming back with a pretty solid performance, keeping the pitching, keeping us in the game. Or at least keeping the opponents out of the game, was big.
Yeah, I do remember in the ninth inning, the Dodgers, they did end up getting 2 runs to kind of make things interesting and make it more in reach, which, it did get a little tough there at the end. But when Gorman, puts us up by 3, I think he did at the point of his home run, you give the pitching a little bit confidence, go out there. You like, hey, maybe you can give up a run or two, but we have this 3-run lead. Just kind of sit on it and close it out. And yeah, that's what happened with that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Helsley gave a little scare right there. Um,
Yeah,
but then Gio came in and cleaned it up in the ninth, so it was nice. It was good.
but
So, moving on to the next game. Um, Finishing off the series on a series win against the Dodgers, 10-5. Um, this was a big game for Oscar Mercado. He had 5 RBIs, and then DeYoung hit a 3-run bomb as well. Um, what impressed me the most about this game was that it was against Kershaw, who pretty much had a perfect game until the fifth or sixth inning last time he came up against us. Um, and we got him out in the fourth. We He let up 4 runs in 95 pitches in 4 innings. So yeah, what you guys see?
I think a great bounce back win against Kershaw after the last time we faced him was really big, and I think it was pretty decent performance out of Flaherty. I mean, 4.2 innings, 3 runs earned, 4 walks was a little discouraging, but 5 strikeouts. So I think that was good. And then obviously we didn't know it then, but the emergence of Oscar Mercado was really big.
Yeah, I agree with you. I remember that game. I was so excited to see Mercado just doing what he did. You know, he had a big day all around. He's mostly known for his glove and his athleticism, but when he puts it together at the plate, then he's a super valuable person at the bottom of the lineup. I think this game is uh pretty much a sign for what's been going on with the offense as far as the bottom of the lineup really producing really well. I remember at this point in time, I think he was getting a lot of walks and stuff, but he wasn't hitting very well. But to see Mercado go out there and get 5 RBIs and DeYoung produce, these aren't the guys that we said that we were going to rely on at the beginning of the season. But you need those type of guys that'll come up and that you can rely on in the middle of the season to do things like this. And it just goes to show how many reinforcements we have on the offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna bring up that
100%.
the bottom of the lineup has been great the last few games.
Yeah,
Sometimes it just feels like either one of the top three guys goes cold every game. There's one that goes cold, and then somebody in the bottom of the lineup picks it up, uh, and it's great. I was super glad that we got to Kershaw. Um, he's been super good this year. I think he has been slowing down as of late. Let me see.
He
yeah, I
certainly
think
has
Yeah,
dropped off since he won, what, pitcher of the month?
yeah. In May, he's got a 5.12 ERA. So yeah, it was nice
yeah,
to, I
I
guess, contribute to that.
I remember going into the game. They were talking about how he lost someone in his family, so he was
Mm.
going to be pitching inspired, or like not, or but also after that outing, he was going to go on the I forgot what the list is called when you step away from the team, but he was going to be on that. So they said he was going to be pitching there in the first inning, looking sharp. But for the Cardinals to get three in the second and then continue in the fourth and fifth and stuff like that is just good to see, man. Um, Hall of Fame level pitcher, but when you can get to that type of guy, I think that just goes to show what type of offense you have and the capabilities that they have.
Yeah, I'm also glad we got the series win over them because they swept us last time. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's one of the best teams in baseball right
yeah,
there.
yes sir. All right. Well, moving on to the most recent series against the Cincinnati Reds. Coming into this series, the Reds were on a four-game losing streak, and the Cardinals have been hot, and it went the Reds' way. We lost 6-5. Um, they walked it off in the 10th, which was hard to see, but it happens. Monty pitched this game. He had 4 innings, 7 hits, and let up 4 runs. Um, I don't know. It's maybe Monty has been slowing down as of late as well. Um, yeah, the month of May it's been a little rough for him, but I know I'm still pretty confident every time he goes out there. Um, so yeah, I want to hear your opinions on this game.
Yeah, I think this game also speaks to the trend of the team as far as the pitchers. Oh wait, we got three in the first, but I think the pitchers, as far as the starters, have been kind of getting out to a slow start at the beginning of the game and then kind of settling in. But by the time they settle in, they are already at 80 or 90 pitches, so they kind of have like a short leash. But yeah, it was a super competitive game. Before the series started, I kind of looked at this series like a trap series because Cardinals come in with so much momentum, and the Reds, they're kind of on a skid a little bit. But first off, that's a division opponent in the Reds. They're always going to play us tough, and then you get the ball in the air, it's a good chance that it's going to travel. and they're the home team, so home field advantage. So I it. I think it's okay to come out of, but yeah, that first game definitely maybe set the tone slightly for the series overall. Just I feel like kind of tough luck with that game, but love to see the Cardinals take that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it was definitely a tough, the Great American is a very offensive friendly ballpark, and the pitching struggled. I mean, 4 innings, 7 hits from Montgomery is not um, winning baseball. But
Yeah,
the offense also, I think, really struggled. You had an 0 for 5 day from Edman, 1 for or no 0 for 3 with 2 walks out of Goldschmidt, 0 for 4 with a walk out of Contreras, Arenado, 0 for 5. Um, obviously we keep saying it, but it was Gorman that was hot on a 2 for 4 and a walk. Um, but outside of that, you know the offense, I think. I mean, they were giving up a lot of walks. Cincinnati was, but I think the offense really struggled to put the game away. Um, just with the bat.
yeah. What I would have to say is, you generally when you go out there and you score 5 runs, you would like to think that you're in a position to win, but you know, with our staff, 5 is probably around the point where the game's competitive. Like, if we put up 5, chances are they might have put up 4 or 5 or 6.
Right.
So,
Especially
you know,
now with it being more offensive
yeah,
focused.
yeah,
You know, I feel like we're used to baseball games being, 3-1, but now
right.
you're seeing a bunch of games going double digit scoring, and
Yeah,
I think that's just an adjustment that everybody's going to have to make.
yeah, definitely a offensive influx as far as like comparison to old times. But yeah, it's tough to see this game not put away, but I think we bounce back fairly nicely in the next few games in this series.
I want to interject something. Sorry, I was just thinking about the new rules, and do you guys? I had never thought about it like this, but it seems kind of evident. Do you think the Cardinals struggles with pitching, um, are possibly due to the new rules and the game go? Like, I feel like the game being shifted to be more of an offensive game exposes the poor pitching staffs more than it has in past years.
I think it's kind of tough to say like as a Cardinals pitching staff because the past I want to say 4 or 5 years we've kind of been at this point where we need the offense to carry. But like you said, I think the pitch clock was kind of in favor of the hitters, and that kind of did hurt us a little bit. Um, but yeah, I think the pitch clock definitely caters to hitters, and it definitely hurts us just slightly because batters kind of got to stay in the box, hang in there. I think that provides them an element as far as staying locked in on location of pitches and stuff like that. And I really feel like when you look at the Cardinals starting rotation, you don't really have a guy that you go out there and you fear like velocity wise. Like I know Jack can bring it sometimes, 95, 96. But you see I think you go out there, you see Wayno, his fastball is at 87, 88, maybe. Um, in your head as a hitter, you're like, oh, I'm not scared. Once I see this fastball, I'm gonna drive it. And I feel like that, he did pitch in this series, and I kind of feel like I was getting that feeling from it. So yeah, I think the rules, the Cardinals have adjusted, but the quality of arms that we have is just not really up to par with other good teams.
Right, and what I guess the rule I was more alluding to was maybe the shift ban, because if you
Mhm.
don't have a shutdown guy, a true ace that's going to get you 10 strikeouts a game, you're relying on a lot of these guys to get you soft contact and make plays defensively, which we can do. But I'm wondering if the ban on the shift, or maybe even the bigger bases, but primarily the ban on the shift, um, you know, allows those soft contact hits to just kind of bloop down. You know,
Yeah, yeah, I definitely
um,
agree with you on that. One thing that has come to mind when you say that is, the Cardinals' philosophy on offense is like be relentless, hit the ball hard, and stuff like that, which is a great philosophy. And then on the flip side, with the pitching, is more so, we have more pitch to contact type of guys, and I feel like after a guy kind of has a rough outing out there for us, like Steven Matz or Wayno and stuff like that, they're just going to the media. They're like, "Oh, they kind of got a little lucky, soft contact, blah 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 blah." But soft contact is still contact, and it's still a viable way to get players on base. So, you
mhm.
know, as much as soft contact isn't the desired outcome of a at bat for a batter, it's still a viable way to get on base. It's still a viable way to eat up the starting rotation that you're going against. So, we kind of have that philosophy, but I think these new rules and stuff, you obviously you want to get it to the point where the players don't even put the ball in play, because that's the most certain way that you will get an out is a strikeout. So, our starting rotation doesn't really have strikeout stuff. That kind of comes to bite us in games like this.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much as we could blame the rules, like you still need better guys out there, you know.
No,
Yeah.
I mean I'm with you. I think that's why we fell short last year, but it felt
Yeah.
like, this pitching rotation is very similar, if not identical, to the one we had last year. I mean, you're
Right.
missing Quintana, and you've got Flaherty back, and you got a
Right.
year older Wainwright. But you know, last year it felt like you could pitch to soft contact, and then you just have whoever Tommy Edman playing in shallow right, and you're just getting easy outs, and that's how you're keeping guys off the bases. And so I feel like with the shift, you can get away with having, I don't want to say subpar, but a subpar pitching staff.
Yeah.
Um, but now that you have to play a team straight up defensively, now I feel like you're like, oh God, we need a guy that can actually go out there and pitch for 7 innings and strike out 10 batters.
Right. I feel you on that for sure.
Do you think a part of it was having Molina behind the plate though? Like not as I'm not saying it was all Molina, but do you think that has something to do with it?
I think Molina's ability to read a batter and you know call a game. Like I think Molina could like I think he could come out of the dugout and know exactly what pitches in sequence he's gonna have our pitchers throw for the entire inning. Like just I think he just knew batters. He knew the stats and the scouting reports just I think he's one of the probably the best baseball minds we've ever seen. So obviously, I think that hurts us, but um, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think
Go ahead.
losing someone like Molina, obviously having Molina was such a big luxury for so long, and we definitely reap the benefits of it defensively. You know, obviously for the tail end of his career, he didn't offer pretty much anything offensively, but we were willing to work with it because we knew that he'll have the pitchers in the right place. He's a on the field manager. You can't run on him, so you know, kind of getting rid of those elements, having like that security behind the backstop is definitely tough to lose. And we kind of seen the after effects of it at the beginning of the season, and maybe still kind of playing out just a little bit. But yeah, the shift, I think I think it definitely hurts us, like Addison said, because when you can play a guy a certain way, that kind of does, like, even if he does get hard contact on the ball, he's hitting it right where he's played to, pretty much. So when you can't play him how you want to play him, and then he's still getting that hard contact, that's gonna obviously allow base runners, and then that's gonna jumpstart their offense. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of Yachty, it's a little bit of the pitch clock, it's a little bit of the shift. So a lot of bit of the arms that we have, and the front office not addressing it. But you know,
It's just about
it's the
getting your
same
guys at this
conversation we've
point.
had. Right. It's the same conversation we've had.
All right. Well, moving on to the second game of the Reds series. This was a big game for Goldie. 2 home runs and 2 at bats. I'm not sure about the first homer, but I know the second homer was on the first pitch, which, man, imagine being that pitcher. He just comes right back up into another home run on the first pitch you throw. But it was against Ashcraft. He went 5 innings, 7 earned runs, and we had Wayno on the mound. It was
Yeah.
good to see. He was doing pretty good. He only let up 1 run up until, well, he had in the third inning they had 3 on him, but he only had 77 pitches when he got pulled. So it was kind of hard to see him let up a run in the sixth because you had a feeling they were going to take him out if they kept scoring. Um,
Yeah.
but I would have loved to see him go an inning or more if he didn't let up that run, obviously. But what you guys see then?
Me personally, I did agree with Wayno getting pulled. I think this is the game where Arenado and Marmal got ejected, if I recall correctly. Which, first off, I would like to say the umpire that ejected Arenado, you're in your feelings, you're mad. Arenado wasn't really saying anything to him. He didn't really do anything foul, and he ejected him. So I didn't agree with that at all, and I think everyone can agree with that. And Marmal coming out there defending his player, I love to see that from the manager. But yeah, you see, you look at the stat line of this game, and you're like, well, Wayno isn't cruising through this game, but he was, at certain points, he was getting quote unquote soft contact. Brad Thompson and Chip Carey were just talking about that all game. Oh, soft contact, float the curveball in there, blah blah blah. But when you look at the line, he gives up one in the first, two in the third, one in the fifth. So he comes to the game with his ERA at 6.33, and when he got pulled out, you see him have a conversation with the interim manager about getting pulled out, and of course you still want to see him be out there because he does have a lead, but you gave up 5 runs. Like, I know this is like his last season. Wainwright's the darling, and he defies the odds, throws 85 miles per hour, but still gets outs, stuff like that. But I do agree with it because I feel like you can't really baby him. You can't, like, just say, "Oh, it's okay that you gave up 4 or 5 runs. We know you're old." Like, I feel like it's kind of played out at this point. So I kind of did agree with him getting pulled. He was working well and he was in the zone with his pitches, but in the zone for Wayno is topping out at 88 miles per hour on your fastball. You see that get hammered to the gap like a few times. And I know in his post game conference, he was talking about, oh, I kind of got unlucky. I hate pitching here. He was like, I'll dust off my sandals and get ready for my next start. But when you really look at it, like, you know, like I said, soft contact is a way to win the game. Um, they put up 5 runs against you or against us as a team, you know, and they're not supposed to be that good. So, you know, I kind of feel like, yeah, he was working good, but I feel like his ceiling is pretty much capped at this point, in my opinion, as far as being a dominant starting pitcher like he once was.
I think, um, yeah, I think you're right about the Wano's old thing kind of being played out. And I don't want to say this to detract from um Wainwright or to make it sound like I'm hating on him because I'm not. I could never. But if he, wanted not if he wanted. The retirement tour was last year. You know what I'm saying? Like last year it was great. It was one more hurrah for Yachty. One more, let's see if Albert could get to 5 or 700. Um,
Yeah,
stuff like that. So if Wayno wanted to have Wayno didn't retire after last year. That's just a fact. And so
yeah,
now we're in the business of winning baseball games. And if Wayno is too old or can't get it done, I think you have to, you can't really make the excuses. It's like, okay, I got pulled because I gave up, what was it, 4 runs, something like that, 3 runs, 5 runs,
4 or 5, one of those.
5 runs, yeah, let up five. So, I mean, obviously I still love Wayno. He's a St. Louis hero, but it's, you know, so what that you're old, dude. Like, we're in the
Right.
business of winning baseball games right now.
Yeah, and it's just to me it's kind of played out at this point. I know I'm only 20 years old and I grew up on Wayno. I'm not really the older Cardinals fan that says, "Oh, Wayno is one of the best pitchers of all time. Oh, he needs to be in the rotation," cuz I don't necessarily feel that way. If we're really looking at the stats, he has a 6.33 ERA. He's right in the middle of our rotation that hasn't been good this year. So, you know, I feel like the national media is like in favor of Wayno. Oh my God, he's coming up on career win number 200. Can he keep it going? But you know, the only reason that he was in a position to win this game was because his offense came to play. The offense, one in the first, two in the second, one in the third, three in the fourth. So we come out here to play on offense, but Wainwright is right in the middle of this rotation that hasn't been good. And he hasn't been healthy, and he hasn't really been a difference maker when he's been back on the field. Now, behind the curtains, he's a great guy. Big spirit animal. Really really supportive of the team, but the on the field production for Wayno, I'm kind of indifferent on it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more of a clubhouse presence than on the
Right.
field production. But that's what you expect when you can't throw more than 90.
Right. I just got a question for y'all. Like when we think of the best rotations in baseball, who comes to mind? Like what teams come to mind for you guys?
Well, Mets, but even though they haven't
Yeah.
been doing crazy good
So
as
the
the
Mets on
Mets.
paper is really
Yeah.
good.
Padres on
Yeah,
paper
Tampa
probably.
Bay, Tampa
Yeah.
Bay's really solid.
So okay,
Miami,
yeah. Let's take Tampa Bay. You know, they're the best team in baseball.
They're
Is Wayno
paying
going to be a starter for Tampa Bay in that
no,
rotation?
no.
No.
And the crazy
Right.
part is
So
that
that
they're paying 25 million for all their pitchers, and they're
right,
top
yeah.
top MLB.
Mhm.
right. And Wayno makes 20 M's. Michaelis makes 20 M's, which okay, I kind of like that idea more. We're kind of seeing Michaelis turn it up as we talk about with these next few games coming up. But yeah, man, you're paying 20 mil for a guy who has a 6 ERA. Sure, he's bringing a lot of spirits. He is singing the national anthem on opening day, but you know, like Edison said, the farewell tour was last year. The sympathizing, I feel like that kind of should have got left last year because based on his on the field play, he shouldn't even be a starter, in my opinion. I hate to say it, but
To
yeah,
me, it's like when the Hawks signed Vince Carter. It's
yeah,
like, okay, cool. You got an all-time great veteran. That's amazing. That's good for you. Is Vince Carter paired with Trey Young going to be the thing that gets you over the hump and wins you an NBA Finals? Like,
right.
absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Like Wayno, like even if Wayno was, if Wayno could get it down to like a 3.5 or a 4 ERA, like
That's good.
that's good, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
It's not groundbreaking.
Yeah, that's not the impact that we need.
Yeah, Look at it like this. You know, he's a great morale guy. He's gonna keep the guys locked in. Maybe he needs to be the Udonis Haslam of the Cardinals because Udonis Haslam hasn't played for the since about 2014 or 2015, but he's been on that roster every year. And guess what? He's still making an impact. He's still, coaching the guys up. So having that type of presence is always needed and important, in my opinion. But the production on the field slash the core isn't there. Obviously, we haven't at this point. Udonis Haslam is not an NBA level player anymore,
Right.
and the coaches very much know that. So therefore, he's in court, but his value is still very high. So I feel like that could be a good comparison.
But that's why I compared him to, that's why I compared Wayno to Vince Carter, is because Vince Carter was getting
Right,
minutes in Atlanta. Like Udonis
right,
Haslam isn't detrimental to your offense. You know what I'm saying? Like Udonis Haslam can't hurt you. All he can do is coach you up. Wayno
right.
can go out and give up 5 runs. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So it's really not Udonis out. Like if Wayno just wanted to be a clubhouse guy, like you don't even necessarily have to give him a coaching title. But even if he wanted to just work with our pitchers, fantastic. I'm all on board for that. But it's
right,
when he's
right.
going out and he's giving up the 5 runs and he's putting us in tough positions to win games that I get a little frustrated.
Yeah, I feel you.
All right. uh, Finishing off with the recaps, the last two games. Um, the second last game we lost 10-3. This one was rough from the get go. Oh my goodness. Um, Matt pitched 4.0 innings, let up 11 hits in 4 innings, let up 6 runs, and he had 90 pitches in the fourth, um, in the fifth. Yeah, man, this one was rough. They Mats gave up 4 runs in the first, so literally from the first inning on, it was just tough to watch.
Yeah,
Also, Ben Lively pitched a great game against us, with six
yeah.
innings, only let up two and struck out eight. Um, so yeah, I don't really have much to say about this game. They had 18 hits. Yeah,
Mm, You know what? That's perfectly fine. Let me take center stage. First off, Steven Matz, I'm just
Let it out.
I really appreciate what you brought to the Cardinals team. You know, and when he signed his deal,
Bro got too passionate. We
what
lost
happened?
you. We lost you, buddy.
Sorry about that, but so yeah, I think when he signed that deal, he was coming off of a good year. And let me know if I'm lagging, by the way, like at any point. So he's coming off a year where he had a 3.86 ERA, which is decent, but you look at his body of work in MLB, he hasn't been healthy for a while. He hasn't had a full season. You know, I kind of feel like the deal was a surprise. I feel like it was an overreaction, and to give him 4 years and almost 50 million, you know, front office. What were we thinking? What did we see from this man that warranted this kind of contract? And I feel like it's always these type of contracts with the Cardinals, like these B grade players. Like we have like the Steven Matz of the world, the Brett Cecils of the world, the Dexter Fowlers of the world, those type of contracts where we sign this B
Jason
level
Hayward,
player and he
Arsenal
yes,
Simmons.
yes, like and they produce like a C or a D. Like what Steven Matz, like genuinely, you I turned on this game and I'm excited. I'm like, okay, Steven Matz has been working better, you know. Can he build on it? I feel like when he's out there on the mound, man, you always just have this uncertainty. Like, what Steven Matz are we gonna get today? Are we gonna get like the Steven Matz that gives up 4 runs in his outing, or are we gonna get the Steven Matz that gives up 8 or 10 runs in his outing? And you know, the Reds of all teams just absolutely rocked him from the start. I think he was trying to work with his changeup a lot, and his changeup was just getting left like up in the zone, and that in the MLB is a recipe for disaster. Sure, he can go out there and throw 95 pitches, but half of those pitches are going to get seen well. They're going to get hammered, you know, and at Great American Small Park, you know, it's just that's just how it's gonna go. You're gonna get absolutely rocked. So, yeah, take him out of the rotation, put him in the bullpen. Can't really get rid of him. No one's gonna trade for him. We have him for 2 more years. Like, oh my God, it's just so terrible, so terrible.
I mean, I'm really tired of saying it because I think I keep bringing these things up, but you know, to build off what Gerald's saying, we're too cheap to go after and sign Juan Soto. We're too cheap to make a move on Rondo. Or, you know, uh, lose out on the Murphy trade. Um, Signing, and then we're paying big money that like completely screws us over like down the road
Mhm.
to guys like Dexter Fowler, Jason Hayward, to you know
Remember
Ozuna,
Brett Cecil?
to yeah, yeah, you know, to guys that like are just kind of bad. Like I
Yeah,
don't know, like you guys hype up mats to these like 4 run. I feel like the 4 run mats master classes are like unicorn performances. It's like it's like it's like Carlos Boozer dropping the most random 50 ball in NBA history. Like it just why? Why does Carlos Boozer have a 50-point game? Nobody knows.
yeah,
Why why did Steven Matz give up 4 runs one game? Nobody knows. I just come to expect 8 runs out of him. It drives me crazy, especially for the money that we're paying him.
It's crazy because he has all the tools to be a good pitcher. He's a lefty. He throws hard. He has a good sinker. He has off speed that can work off of it. It's just I don't know what it is. He's easy to read. He's easy to get hits off of. He's not locked in at other times. Like it's just I don't know. I don't know what it is. And looking at his stats, he's 0-6 this year, by the way. Like he hasn't won a game and he's lost six. But obviously he's had more outings than that, but he, pretty much always puts us in a position to lose. So but yeah, man, it's just I love the guy. He seems cool off the field, seems like he'll hold a good conversation, but I think he needs to be holding conversations with people in the bullpen next to Andre Palante because I'm tired of seeing him in the rotation, man.
Yeah, man. Like, it's like I said, we're in the business of winning baseball games. Like, I don't really care that
Yeah,
Steven Matz would be a fun guy to go get a beer with. Like, can you give me 5 scoreless innings, please?
yeah, for real, for
Like,
real.
God. I'm not asking for a no hitter or a perfect game. I'm just asking for like 3 runs given up. Is that so
Yeah, I was about to
hard?
say 6 innings, 3 runs. Maybe be our fourth or fifth arm that we can throw out there for a different look. Like
Yeah.
I feel like at some point, like I think the point is now, but I think at some point, we kind of have to maybe on the days that he pitches, maybe have like an opener. And I know that's like supposed to be quote unquote disrespect to the starter. You're not giving them confidence or whatever. But based on his track record in STL, what has he done to prove that he deserves the utmost confidence? So far, it's been 2 seasons. The first one was bad, and then it was injury riddled. And this season he's fully healthy, but it's just bad. So it's just like, what have you done?
Yeah, it seems like I'm holding my breath every time he throws a pitch. Like I'm there, like peeking through
Yeah,
my fingers for 90 pitches. Um, but yeah, moving on to the last game of the series. We won 2-1. It was a 1-1 score until go-ahead Gorman broke the tie in the eighth.
no, it
When
was it was it was 0-1, 0-1. I think.
was wasn't it 1-1?
Oh, I might be wrong. Sorry,
Oh
didn't mean
wait,
to cut
wait,
you
wait,
off.
wait, wait, wait. No, you are right. It was we
Yeah,
were losing one. No, it was just tied. Let me just. Sorry about that. It was 0
yeah,
0 until the eighth when Gorman doubled to right and he
yeah,
scored new bar, and then Gorman
yeah.
scored when Sims threw a wild pitch. Um,
Right.
and then, um, oh yeah, so this was the Michaelis masterclass once again
Yes, sir.
when he had pitched 7 innings, let up 5 hits and 0 runs. He didn't even walk anybody, and he pitched 90. His pitch count was 95. So yeah,
Yeah.
there was a little scare at the end when we let up a run in the ninth, but we got it done. So what do you guys got to say about this game?
Like you said, the big headliner of this game is Michaelis Masterclass. I watched the whole game. Michaelis was using all I think he's at his best when he can use all of his pitches in the zone, the 70 mile per hour curveball, and he can spot up his 94 mile per hour fastball and use the sinker off that, and stuff like that. He's a super crafty guy, and I really do like Michaelis. Um and like you said, Gorman coming through in the eighth, man, he just loves being in the big spots. That's what I notice about him. He loves being up when he's depended on to get a hit or a timely hit at that. He was literally all of our offense for this whole game. It was like you said, a pitcher's duel, all the way through. It was a 2-1 game, so obviously, but yeah, you see Gorman go up there, like you said, you just have the guys on the team that you feel a certain way. Like we said with Mads, when he goes out there, we're holding our breath. But when Gorman goes up to the plate, you're excited to see what's about to happen next, even if he doesn't break through and get the result, which hasn't really been a thing this year because he's been so clutch. But you just see him go up there. He's a dog, man. He's only 23. He's fighting. He has a good eye this year. It's still some swing and miss to his game, but you know, you can't complain about it with the stats that he's putting up. So yeah, like you said, Michaelis masterclass, Nolan Gorman came through. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what the takeaway from this game is for me.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it all for me. I think, obviously, I don't want to keep saying Gorman's, carrying us, but obviously he is the offensive highlight. Um, yeah, and then Michaelis.
It seems like
I guess
Gorman
go
waits
ahead.
for I feel like every other game we have a different person stepping up. Like De Jong will step up, and then Mercado will step up.
Mhm.
Not Gorman. Goldschmidt hits 2 home runs, but then when nothing's going on, it feels like Gorman's just waiting for
Yeah,
for that pitch in the seventh, eighth, ninth inning.
yeah, for real. He wants to be in the spot where he's depended on to get the big hit. And he just has that it factor. I think he has it in general, but for right now, he definitely has it. Uh, he's a middle of the lineup guy. He's a lefty bat, so having him, Goldie and Arenado, and having him from the left side, when those guys are right-handed hitters, it's very, very good for the lineup, and he's reaping the benefits right now. I guess I could say it was good to see Luke Weaver do good. I know he was a Cardinals draftee back in the day, but you know, glad to see that he's doing better. But I'm also glad to see that we came out with the dub against him. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. Um, so we're just gonna transition to the confidence meter to finish off the episode. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back everybody to our confidence meter segment. We got 3 players we want to talk about today. Um, so yeah, let's get right into it. First player is Oscar Mercado. He just recently came up um, to play. He's been tearing it up. It seems like, especially his first few games, he went 3 for 4, 3 for 4, and he had a 4 game hitting streak. And he also had a 5 RBI game. So personally, I would give him a 3 out of 5, just because I don't really know Oscar Mercado. I've never really followed him. So yeah, I'm right in the middle of the pack, but I am hoping he keeps it up.
Yeah, Addison, you want to go first, or you want me to go?
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm gonna give him a 3 out of 5. I think, obviously, I hope he keeps it up. My biggest concern, just for him as a player, because I don't know if you guys have followed the Jordan Walker train down in AAA.
Hmm.
But we brought him up and he started off really hot, and then all of a sudden, he started hitting a lot of ground balls. Well, he was getting on base with ground balls, but then, he slowed down getting on
Yeah,
base. I think he dropped to like 175 in the pros, and they sent him down to AAA, and he never bounced back. Or maybe he had. I haven't looked in like a week and a half, but like at that first month that he was in back down in AAA, well, not back down because he had never played AAA, but when he was in AAA, he was batting 175 still, and it was like, did we crush his spirit? Like, I think that would really suck, if we like crushed his, you know, mentality. Like we, gave him a shot. It's like your dream came true. You're in the big leagues, and then like, you're not good enough. Sorry. And then, he hasn't really bounced back from that yet. And so I just hope that, should he regress, they don't, they give him some more time than they give uh, Jordan Walker. But I'm going three and a half out of five.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off everything you said. One, Jordan Walker did come out of the gates a little slow in AAA. Like you said, he never played in Memphis ever. He went straight from AA to the majors, which is a huge jump for a 20-year-old kid. He just turned 21. Happy birthday. Cheers. But yeah, he's kind of picking it up as far as like the last 2 weeks, I say. I think he's hitting over 300 in his past few weeks, and he's hitting with power. But back to the guy Mercado, I think he's been great for us, and he's kind of been what we needed, someone that could kind of provide a spark at the bottom of the lineup. That's also an outfielder that also plays good defense. He's hitting 375 and he's slugging 500. So overall, he has a 875 OPS. Just based on his uh past as an MLB big leader, his career OPS is 682, which is below MLB average. So I do think he's kind of due for some regression because his average and his on base percentage is the exact same. So he really isn't walking. Like now that I see that, so I do kind of think he's due for regression. But yeah, man, he's been great. That game against Kershaw, I was on my feet, like excited. So yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I'm gonna say 3 or 3.5. I hope he can keep it up, but I do kind of think he's in for a little bit of regression, which kind of gets my rating at 3 in the middle.
All right, perfect. Guess we all agree on Mercado. Moving on to one of our stars on the team, Nolan Arenado. Um, he's been struggling again the last few games. He has no hits in the last 3 games, um, and I don't know. I got a 3.5 rating on him, but I'll let Gerald take this one for us.
Yeah, it's just I feel like right now it's just something off about Arenado. Like, um, you know what you're gonna get on defense. I say that every time I start with Arenado because he's the best defender in baseball. But yeah, at the plate, I feel like he's kind of uncomfortable. You see him chasing a lot of pitches that he didn't chase last year. I knew he would probably regress a little bit from last year, but at certain points it's kind of unwatchable. I feel like he strikes out on pitches he should never strike out on. Like I remember he struck out on a curveball that bounced very far in front of the plate, and he likes to chase sliders outside of the zone. And also I seen this stat where um, Goldie has 110 WRC plus with runners in scoring position, which with the WRC plus the average is 100. So he's been 10 points above average. But Arenado, man, his WRC plus was at 9. So he's been absolutely dreadful with runners in scoring position. And when I saw that, I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, that does make sense because really the only hit that I remember him getting with the runner in scoring position was that RBI double down the line at Busch Stadium. And I know he's had some home runs with runners in scoring position, so that kind of helps. But yeah, it's just something off with him, man. So I'm gonna probably have to give him a 3 because I don't really know what it is, but I do know that he has the track record to bounce out of whatever he's in. So I'm right there at a 3 with him right now.
Um, I think last week we were talking about, you know, Arnett always gets off to a slow start and then he gets hot and it just seems like it's for the rest of the year. Um,
Yeah.
but I think he's fallen into a little bit of a regression the last week. Not super worried about it. I still think a 3.5, 4 for me because we know what he does, and I mean it's not late enough in the year. I still think like, but I know he's gonna have 30 and 100 this year, and so I don't. It's not late enough in the year for me to be like concerned about that.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of, can he consistently produce instead of these little hot spurts? So yeah, I'm
yeah,
feeling like a 3.5.
yeah. Just to kind of nail it down a little bit. So this year he's hitting 264, which his for his career he's 288 hitters. So he's kind of a little bit below, but not too far off. But what I'm really seeing is the slugging for his career over 11 seasons. He has a 531 slugging, and this year it's at a 437. So that's a pretty much a 100-point drop off, which
Yeah.
is taken away from his production. So if he can just start hitting for power a little bit more, I think he'll be okay. But I'm at 3.
Yeah, and the weird thing is that he's second on the team with RBIs, but he's been that bad with runners scoring position. So it seems like he's just like a
Yeah,
little tweak away from being MVP in the MVP talk, or close to
right,
it. But yeah,
right.
moving on to our last player who has been shining in the month of May, and this is our starting pitcher, Miles Michaelis. He has a 2.40 ERA in the month of May. He has 19 strikeouts to his 5 walks in this month. Um, and yeah, with Michaelis, it seems like you get to a point in the year where he's just dealing. Last year it was pretty early on in the season, and then he kind of regressed a little bit, but now it seems like he's getting into that again. So I'd have to give him a 5 just because he looks so sharp, and as Gerald said, he's got so many pitches he can work with, and it seems like he's a super crafty guy. So yeah, I'll say 5.
Yeah, yeah. I'm somewhere right there with you. I mean, just based off the fact that over his last few starts, he has that low of an ERA at 2.4. You said 2.40, right? Yeah, that's obviously you want that from your starters. So I can't knock him in any way right now for the way he's pitching. You see him going out there. He's kind of giving me that vibe where he wants to be that guy at the top of the rotation, or he kind of realizes that he needs to be sharp and a top of the rotation guy right now, just based on the quality of arms that we have. But yeah, like you said, he just goes through these spurts where he looks so good, and everything is just going his way. I think when you think of soft contact, he's a soft contact king. Um, so yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm gonna have to say 4 or 5, just based on how he's been doing. He got his ERA all the way down to 4.23 because I remember it was at the sevens to start the season. So yeah, he's definitely turning it around. I'm gonna have to say 4 or 5.
Michaelis to me, hmm, I don't know. He's been really hot recently, but he's still not, I think, where he was. Like if you'd asked me last time or this time last year, I would have told you a 5. Because I mean, obviously, he was like a Cy Young candidate and one of the better pitchers in baseball at this point. But I think I'm gonna give him a 4, and you guys could come back to me in a week, and we'll see how he works out. But his last start was super impressive, and I just hope he could kind of carry that on to the next one and build off of that.
Yeah, I feel like Michaelis is kind of a guy where if he does have that one blow up start where he maybe gives up 5 or 6 or 7 runs, his outlook after that, he might be like giving up 3 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs. But then once you really see him settle in, he really really keeps it under 2 runs or less when he's really locked in. So whatever it is that helps him stay locked in or pitch where he's at his best, keep doing it. He's been doing good.
Yeah. All right. So that's gonna wrap up the confidence meter segment. We're just gonna talk about, well, not talk about, just we got a 3 game series coming out with the Guardians in the next 3 days. Then we got the Royals and then the Pittsburgh. So maybe we can keep up all this winning baseball. We got Liberatore out on the mound today against Bieber, who has been great this season. Um,
Yeah.
so we're just hoping for Liberatore to give us another good pitching game like he had last time.
Yeah, going into this series, I love the look of Liberatore in the rotation versus using him out of the bullpen. I'm not sure why we were trying to do that, but yeah, I I am curious to see how he looks out there for his second start this season. Have high hopes, but I know the Guardians have been slumping this year, but when you think of the Guardians, you kind of think of them as a very good pitching team. So just kind of hope our pitching can kind of compete with that. Not really worried about the offense, but yeah, I'll see how the pitching does for me.
Yeah, so I think that's going to wrap up this episode of Cardinals Baseball. Thank you, everybody, for coming back and listening to the Essential Sports Pod. Um, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. You guys got anything else to add?
Uh,
I think so.
All right.
just
Oh,
as I always say, thanks for the continued support. It's huge. We wouldn't do it without you guys. So just thank you. That's all.
yeah, so everyone have a nice day, and we'll see you guys next week.